Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Treen, and every week I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things intuition. Through personal stories, experiences, and practices, offering energetic reflections to help you discover, connect, and fully realize how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to January 2023. Kind of amazing. I feel like I said that for December too, and probably November. But yes, I am very happy that it is a new year, new calendar year. I was ready for it. From most people that I speak to, they were also ready for it, ready for, the new, to kind of leave behind 2022. For most, from what I gleaned, it was not the easiest year. Many highs, many lows. But that could be said for most years, right? Maybe we're just a little bit more aware of how our years are since 2020. Or maybe they have changed. But for me, yes, I was ready. I was very ready. But the interesting thing was that these January energy impressions did not want to come until January. Sometimes I do them, a few days before the month. But no, for January, it had to be done in January. It's just the way my intuition was telling me. And when I felt into the energy, to the impressions, to offer you a few ideas, questions, metaphors, images for you to feel into to get your own impression for the month. When I felt into it, I really understood why, okay, January is a little bit of a different month than usual, than a traditional New Year's, new year, new me, January, let's go, let's get moving. The holidays are over, speed ahead. No. And I mean, in the Northern Hemisphere, it's winter. So it's not the easiest season to, switch out of the rhythm of the holidays into the get up and go. Maybe a little bit easier in the Southern Hemisphere to my friends because it's the summer. More light, more activity. Their summer holiday is kind of the winter holiday that we have in the North. So if you are in the Southern Hemisphere, I'm curious if you also feel resonant with the impressions I'm going to offer. So please let me know. I always like to hear. But I'll give a little update. Not too much to say. Not too much to say. I found that time has really kind of continued to speed forward. I had a beautiful, beautiful break, time off from work, a lot of amazing time with family and my own little family here with my partner and my cat. And yeah, just really rested and ate all the good foods and, still kept up with my practices that I say kind of exhausted like that because I know, especially this time of year, we're really hearing it a lot from many people. But yes, my practices are very important to me because they keep me on, not even on track, but on the ground. So I continued to work out. I continued to meditate. I continued to do all of my things. And you know what? It didn't feel like sacrificing anything from the holidays. It actually really supported me. And I say that to really offer that maybe a little bit of inspiration for you, that you don't have to start anything that is a practice like that, especially with working out with the new year. Change the perspective of it, shift the perspective, because as somebody that never in my life, in 38 years before, or 37 years before I started consistently working out, I never moved my body consistently. And I usually did it when I wanted to change my body. And now, after almost 3 years, it'll be 3 years in the end of April. After almost 3 years of working out 4 to 6 days a week, never missing a week, very, very lucky. I never got like super sick or anything. I now know that I can trust that it's always a good idea as long as there's no, pain, or if I'm feeling, sick or exhausted or anything. I can trust that moving my body will offer so much to so many aspects of my life. So if you are thinking about working out and you're doing it from an outside in perspective, if you're doing it to change your body, if you're doing it to feel different, to change a part of your life by changing your body first, I really don't suggest you doing it. I would suggest starting a meditation practice, getting still, using your imagination to visualize nature, visualize even what you may feel like working out. Because getting to the bottom of the intention, getting to the why of why you're doing something, that's what has been super life-changing for me. And I'm not great at it all the time. But I do know that I will always remember at some point to rein myself back, bring myself back to the intention, to the why. And like a little example of that would be, so say over the holidays, if I had, more sweets than usual, maybe the next day, a little part of my brain says, oh, maybe an extra workout, maybe a little longer, maybe heavier weights. And then I have to ask myself, well, what is that voice telling me that for? And when I look into it for myself, that voice is using working out as a form of punishment. That I was rewarding myself, allowing myself to eat the sweets as long as I was going to do a really hard workout afterwards and use extra weights because that'll burn more calories, or that'll be harder for me to do, that'll feel more strenuous, make me sweat more. And that is not, for me, and, just my opinion, for most, not a healthy way to look at moving our body, of putting in an exercise routine, an exercise practice. Because then I'm at odds with my body. Then it's up to where and what my body is doing to see if my workouts are good, if they're working. So my intention is always the cumulative effects of my workout. To remember that when I consistently sweat and move my body, yes, I am stronger. Yes, I feel more toned and sure, maybe a little bit smaller than before. But those are not the intentions. What I know is that by doing it consistently, I know that it helps to manage my anxiety disorder, any symptoms of it. It helps to manage how grounded I feel in my body. It helps to give me a clearer mind. It helps me feel more confident in my creativity. It helps me be more patient in general with many, not just clients or my family or friends, but all over the place, grocery store, wherever. So when I remember that all of those things are the reason that I'm doing it. Oh, and then also osteoporosis. That's a big one. To make sure I have strong, healthy bones so that the older I get, the less calcium that I'm able to absorb, I have that strength. So those have really helped me. And I just wanted to offer those to you as well. If this is the year, yes, we're going to do it, you're ready, really check in with your intention for doing it. Make sure it's not just a punishment for whatever you did over the holidays. Make sure that it's not about changing yourself from the outside in or changing the way you feel. Because from my personal experience, that is not the way to do it. and it's not sustainable. And it's always a moving target. There will always be another level of fitness or shape or weight that is more desirable for you because it is constantly moving. That's why we reflect back at the end of the year. That's why we look to how it was to see how much has changed, because it's really difficult for us to do that. So yeah, just wanted to offer that insight into kind of how I was solidifying my commitment to my exercise. Okay, so let's get into January 2023 energy impressions. So if this is your first time listening to the energy impressions, I really like to do it, like I mentioned earlier, more as something supporting you, kind of piquing the interest of your own intuition. Maybe your intuition recognizing how I am kind of explaining the energy, the metaphors, the images, the ideas, the themes and guidance are really meant for you to receive, to, activate, wake up, whatever your intuition really wants you to know. So it's not, like I said, predictive. It's not about, here is the forecast. No, I really believe in our own free will, our own narrative of our life, and trusting ourselves. So the impressions that I offer are to help deepen the trust that you have in your own intuitive guidance. So let's dive into January 2023. Thank you for letting me go on that little bit of a tangent. But when I do follow those tangents, inevitably, even if it seems like not part of the episode, inevitably somebody reaches out and says, "Oh, thank you for saying that or speaking about that." So I always kind of trust that if there's something on my mind and I want to share it, there's one person that needs to hear it. So thank you for, waiting for the energy impressions while I spoke about that. All right. So January 2023 is interesting because when I kind of felt into the energy, to the impression that may help us kind of deepen our own trust in our intuitive guidance, unique to each of us, it was different than I had traditionally kind of expected. January is a month that starts with a lot of momentum, usually. It is a new year. It is time to, set our intentions, set our goals, really look at what we want to accomplish. But when I felt into this January, that was not the feeling. The feeling is really a pause. The word was no. Not the most positive word, right? You don't want to hear no. You want to hear yes. I would want to hear yes. For January, I want to hear yes. Jump, move ahead, let's go. But no, I felt into these words and it made sense to me that right now it's about waiting. It's about pausing, saying no, really looking at what may still be left over from 2022 that we do not need to bring into this year. Taking a moment, realizing that if we kind of do a little bit more preparation in the pause, a little bit more reflection, maybe even some renovations on ideas or things we would want to do on those goals and intentions that we would traditionally set. Maybe there's a bit of refinement we need to do in there. Because if this is your first time listening to the energy impressions, when I feel into them, I allow all my senses to kind of offer me something to feel and think about and offer to you. So I used my imagination through my intuition, and it showed me a treadmill. It showed somebody walking on the treadmill. And that's interesting, right? Because I spoke about exercising before, but this doesn't feel specifically about exercising. This feels like the energy. Because what is a treadmill? It's walking or running. You can go as fast as you want, but you're not going to really go anywhere. And that really fit with the no, with the pause. And I can see that happening very easily for myself. Getting caught up in the momentum of January, kind of knowing that I should pause and prepare and not really rush forward with anything, but wanting to put in a lot of effort to still exert, the same amount that I would if I didn't feel that pause, to kind of push through the barrier. But on a treadmill, that extra effort, it's only going to exhaust you or release energy that you don't need anymore. So if for January, you are doing a lot of work, but you're not seeing a lot of results from it, you're not really getting what you normally would receive from that much effort, think about what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go. Reflect and see if part of you wanting to do so much and exert so much effort, maybe that's a little bit of a mirror showing you that you need to release something, that there is some things that are not really going to serve you very well in 2023. But specifically, January. Maybe it is something physical in your life. Maybe it's something in your house. But most often, it's something energetic. It's something within. It's something like an old belief about yourself or an old idea, an expectation, something that you don't even notice that you think that really isn't for you anymore, or maybe isn't true. So even though it is January, the new year, I feel like this January is kind of an extra month to really get clear on where you want to go, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish for the year. But most importantly, how you want to feel. Because it's really easy to feel like a no or a pause or maybe I should wait, but feeling bad about that and pushing forward when you know that your intuition or your body is telling you, just hold off for a moment. But when we ignore that, it's usually because we don't want to pay attention to what needs to be paused or needs to wait or needs to stop. Sometimes it feels more work to backtrack, but any kind of reflection this way, creatively, spiritually, this is never backtracking. We are always learning something new, bringing something new, even if it's refining something. Because the other thing that can happen on a treadmill is usually we're watching something or we're reading something. We're not necessarily paying attention to what we're doing. We're trying to distract ourselves from how boring it is. Treadmills are boring. I feel like that's a really beautiful reminder to pay a lot of attention to when we are trying to distract ourselves or occupy our time with something that is not necessarily helping us get anywhere. And it's not about constant development. But what I'm really feeling is that procrastination or kind of self-sabotage that we can do if we are more creative, if we are more intuitive, and we want to create things, or if you are in the healing modalities or intuitive arts. There's a lot of uncertainty that comes with the kind of confidence you need to do the things that our creativity and our intuition are asking us to do. So for January, it really feels like we're kind of getting prepared for that. We're waiting and pausing and saying no when we really feel it. And that gives us time. And this might sound kind of odd, but that gives us time to play. That gives us time to not be so serious. And that gives us space. And that's the space where you can kind of really tap in to what your soul is calling you to do. And that's when you can really tap in to feel into what you might still be clinging to that is not for you to hold on to anymore. And that may sound vague, but if that is for you, you know what I'm talking about. You know what you're holding on to that is not really helping you anymore. And that's when you can really get grounded in your intentions and when you want to say yes to something. Because the other thing that my imagination showed me through my intuition, which is a practice that I encourage all of you to do, was a duck treading water. More treading, but this time not on a treadmill, but in water. And this made me feel, are our emotions propelling us? Are they making us move our feet, making us do something, respond, react in a certain way that we're not necessarily aware that that reaction is coming from a certain emotional place? The water always feels like emotion to me, the depth of our emotions, the well. So what is in the way? What is not helping you move in the way that you need to? What emotion or emotional reaction is there one that you can think of that might be in your way? And for me, it's my sensitivity to criticism. The first thing that I think of, there are many more, but the first thing that I think of is my sensitivity to criticism that I've had since I was very, very, very young. That stands in my way often. It used to stand in my way and I didn't even know that's what it was. I know that anything I create has to be, or anything I do that is new, that is not being directed by anyone else, it has to be very clear for me first. It has to have a solid intention. I have to know the why. I need to feel a firm foundation so that when I share it and I may receive feedback that might not even seem bad, but makes me question my intention or what I created. If it makes me question it, I have that sensitivity to that criticism where it can hurt me, can make me feel bad, make me really second guess. Sometimes if I am not super aware of it, it can make me scrap the whole thing. So for January, I'm going to be very aware of that. So I'm going to make sure and tell myself that, remember, it shouldn't matter as much if others get what I'm doing or not. It doesn't even matter if they like it, because the most important thing for me is that I made it, that I finished it, that I realized it, that I finished expressing the thing I felt called to express. And I do that in many different ways, so many different ways to express ourselves. That can be truly like an art form, or it can even be, a conversation with a friend or a family member. And standing in your opinion or your thoughts and not changing because somebody else disagrees, but also not getting upset. So in January, how can you find that comfort within? That whatever you do or say or create, you're not searching for that comfort or that validation outside of yourself, that you're finding that within. So for January, really feel into and kind of carry, if you can, that treadmill image and try to pay attention to when you are filling and creating so much energy, when you are exerting yourself for something and you are not seeing any results. If you are not seeing what usually would be a pretty fair kind of reaction, if you're not seeing it, try not to blame yourself. Really pay attention to, if you find yourself on that treadmill, if you find yourself as that duck in the water, treading the water, but not really moving, maybe even going in circles, ask yourself what the intention of what you're doing is. Why are you doing it? What are you expecting? Because I really feel like if we make sure that we are clear on our intention, on our reasons, then we're not doing it for any other reason, but because we feel called to, and it's the best thing that we can feel to do for us, which in turn, I believe feels like for our highest good. But then also, what does that do? Ripples out for the highest good of all. And that brings me to the word. So last January, the theme for the year, I kind of meditated on it and felt into it for myself personally. And last year it was wild trust. And I wildly trusted myself many times. And sometimes it didn't work out in the way that I thought it would. But a lot of times I was pleasantly surprised. So I am going to carry over that wild trust because I am still building my business and my creative portfolio and a few new things that are coming. So I feel that I definitely need the support of that wild trust to move through all the fear, move with it. Because the only thing that gets me kind of not even past my fear, but not let fear kind of stand in the way of what I want to do is by trusting. But the main word for 2023 that I felt into and I really like for this year is harness. And not in the way of a harness on a horse. No, not about kind of controlling and directing. The verb of harnessing, making use of your natural resources, making use of everything you've already learned, felt, understood, remembered, uncovered within yourself. This year, I'm going to focus on harnessing everything I have, all of the tools, resources, talents, gifts, whatever you want to call them, everything at my disposal. I'm going to harness them and use them toward what I need to express. Because the energy healing that I offer is an expression. The creativity that I use in my photography and my writing, that's an expression. But also knowing exactly what I need and want and desire, that's also expressing and harnessing. And that is the definition. It is making use of natural resources, especially to produce energy. And the other reason I like this word is because it feels like it reminds me to pay attention to when I am attempting to control a situation or control how other people act or react. Because a harness can be for an animal to help them work for us, do something for us. Sometimes it's used to control, to almost the point of exploitation. But I feel like the power in harnessing my own energy is harnessing, all of the facets of myself and what I've learned to utilize my resources, to utilize them for my highest good and the highest good of all. So this is the year to harness. What are you going to harness? What have you done over the past 2 years where you are ready to rein it all in and really focus it for your highest good? And I would love to hear. I would love to hear what you're doing. And I'm also going to add, now you're going to hear it in a few moments, I'm going to finish off this episode with my clarity of purpose meditation from last year. It was very popular, so you may have done it already, but if you haven't, it's a beautiful guided meditation for you to really connect to your clarity of purpose for the year. So before the meditation, I want to thank you for listening to this episode of Intuitive Seek. I would love to hear if you resonated with the energy I'm feeling and moving through for January. And if you have any thoughts or questions, please don't hesitate to send me a message. You can do it through my website at Treenlight or through my Instagram at Treenlight, TREENLIGHT. But all the links that you need are always in the show notes. So just scroll down from where you press play for the episode. And if you're curious about working with me for the new year, I always offer a free clarity session to chat about your needs and see how I can support you and if we would be a good fit. It's easy to book your free clarity session through my website, and I'll leave all those links, like I said, in the show notes. Hugely appreciate if you subscribe and follow wherever you get your podcasts. And if you feel called to give some support, then please share this episode with a friend or leave a review. Thank you again so much. Be kind to yourself, and I will talk to you soon. Enjoy the meditation. Close your eyes and shift into a comfortable position. Begin to breathe in a natural rhythm, breathing in and breathing out, breathing in and breathing out. Feel your breath moving in and out of your body. Now begin to bring your awareness to the soles of your feet. And feel the energy that you hold there. You may feel a tingling or a soft warmth flowing from your toes to your arches, to your heels. Now, using your imagination, you start to feel your energy that is flowing through the soles of your feet. And you imagine that your energy begins to create the roots of a tree. Allow these beautiful energy roots to begin to grow down through your floor, past the foundation, and deeply into the earth, growing all the way down to the core of the earth. You can feel the earth holding your energy roots, steady, firm, and supported, as you allow the warm, supportive energy to move back up through the earth, through the foundation, through your floor, and back up into your feet. Flowing up through your legs, to your hips, expanding up your back, filling your stomach and chest. You can feel this energy moving and supporting your whole body. You feel grounded, anchored, and supported. Now, while keeping your eyes closed, you begin to use your imagination to picture yourself looking up at your ceiling. Now use your imagination to picture yourself looking down at your knees. Now picture yourself reaching your arms out in front of you. You can imagine the stretch in your back and shoulders. So much much so that you can start to feel it. And as you imagine your arms stretched out in front of you, you notice that this is very easy for you. And you notice that it is very easy for you to use the power of your imagination to picture yourself moving around in your mind's eye. And now, using your imagination, you begin to picture yourself standing up in your room. And while you are standing, you look to your right and you notice that there is a very large circle of bright emerald light next to you. This is a doorway. This is a portal, inviting you to step through. And you begin to walk over. And you step through this circle of emerald bright light. And as you step through, the emerald light cleanses and protects you. And as you move through the circle, you start to see that on the other side of the emerald light, you find yourself stepping into a small forest clearing. This clearing is encircled by very tall, old trees that are reaching into the sky as their roots dig deeply into the earth. The forest floor is teeming with green life, and the air is soft and fresh. The sun is peeking through the thick circle of trees, allowing a little stream of light to illuminate the center of the clearing. You notice a soft, flickering movement of light in the very center of this clearing. And you begin to walk towards it. And as you approach the center, you realize that there is a small spring of water that was reflecting the light. This spring is in the shape of a circle, and the water is very clear. Now take a seat in front of the spring and feel the welcoming warmth flow through your whole body. This spring is here to offer you clarity. This spring is here to help you to see. This spring is here to allow your highest self to give you a glimpse into the near future, where you will be led by the path of your highest good, the path of your purpose. Take a moment and look into the water. And as you begin to focus on the water, you realize that it looks almost like a mirror. And this mirror is not reflecting your face. This mirror is showing you a snapshot of your highest self living a few years from now. Take in everything that you can from this glimpse into your future self, who has followed the path of their purpose for your highest good. This glimpse into your highest self, living fully in alignment. Where are you? What are you doing? What are you wearing? Who are you with? How are you feeling? I will leave you for a few moments to use every sense that you have, allowing yourself to take note of any pieces of clarity that you receive. Now you feel it is time to leave. But remember, you can always come back to this place of clarity. Everything you need to know exists inside of you. This place of clarity allows you to create space to remember it. And now you start to see, or you can feel, the large circle of emerald light again. And you begin to walk slowly back through the bright emerald circle. And as you step back into your physical room, the emerald circle closes behind you. And you begin to move towards your physical body. And you sit back down into yourself. Now begin to come back into your space, wiggling your fingers and your toes. Take a deep breath. And softly smile to yourself, thanking yourself for taking time today. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes.
to say something very, very meaningful.